art friends, it's Alyssa. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, this is my YouTube channel where I do all different sorts of arts and crafts projects. So today what I'm going to be doing, it's commonly known as a thrift store makeover, but basically a thrift store makeover is when you get something at the thrift store that is either in bad condition or seemingly has no purpose, and you give it some new life. So what I'm going to be doing today is giving a makeover to these 4 little wooden things. I'm not 100% sure what they're supposed to be, but to me they look like crayons, and I love anything pertaining to crayons. So what I'm planning on doing is painting each of these a different color and turning them into little crayons. So if you would like to see how these turn out, then just keep on watching. So I started off by peeling off the stickers on each of these little wooden figurines, and then I decided to give each of them a nice coat of gesso. The acrylic paint probably would have stuck to the wood if I just painted it directly on, but I wanted a nice even surface for my paint, so this gesso will just help the paint stick a little bit more. For some reason, there's just a weird white stripe painted on each of these, so I didn't want that showing through. I don't really know why someone would just paint a single stripe on each of these. It's like they started giving it a makeover and then just gave up. But I'm actually going to follow through and give these crayons a new life. So after the first layer, it was clear that I was going to need a second layer of gesso. So here I am just going in with that second layer. So after the gesso dried, it was time for the fun part, which is painting. So these are the colors that I started off with. I didn't actually use them all in the end. I had to do some color mixing, but the idea was to have a lighter version of each color for the wrapper and a darker version for the actual crayon itself. I used a combination of Liquitex Basics acrylics and Mariah Elizabeth's acrylic paint. So now you can see how I was able to get those crisp edges on the sides of the crayon. So what I did was I used some washi tape and I kind of just eyeballed it. I tried to put the washi tape in the same spots on each of the crayons. I just kind of lined them up side by side to get as accurate as I could. And then I painted the top and bottoms of each of the crayons with the darker version of the colors. I ended up changing the color of the pink crayon later on, you'll see, but right now I'm starting with the color that's on this palette. And I went around, painted the tops and bottoms, and then I had to figure out how I could let them dry without touching on the table, and I felt really smart for thinking of this idea. I put them all on this little tape dispenser to dry, and then that way nothing got smudged. So just a pro tip, if you are ever using washi tape as masking tape like I am here, make sure that you press down the tape really secure to whatever surface you're painting on, because I did not press this tape down very hard and some of the paint oozed out of the edges. It gave me a pretty straight line to work with, but it could have been better because I did have to go in for some touch-ups, so just keep that in mind if you ever do something like this and you use masking tape. Just make sure that you press it down really hard on the surface. So here I am just finishing up the first coat of each of these crayons. Some of the colors needed a second coat, especially this yellow. I think I went in with 3 or 4 coats by the end, just because yellow is a really light color in general. This paint is really nice, so no shade to the paint, but yellow just takes a lot of coats of paints. And so I went through and double checked if each of the colors were fully opaque, and if not, I just went in and added a little bit extra paint to each end. So I took off the washi tape from the crayons, and you can see me here kind of fixing up the edges, and also I did change the color of this pink crayon. I wasn't totally feeling the first pink that I used, which was the Liquitex one, and decided to go with the Mariah Elizabeth brand pink instead, and I'm really glad that I did that. So apparently I forgot to film myself painting the wrappers on the crayons, but all I did was take a lighter version of each color and then painted the center part where I didn't paint before. So now you can see me using my washi tape as another guideline for where I can put the black stripes on the crayons. I had to kind of eyeball it once again. I tried to make these stripes about the same width on each crayon, but I know for sure that they are not exact and not perfect, but that's all right. So I let the black paint dry and then peeled off the washi tape. I then used the same color that I used for the wrappers to create this wavy zigzag pattern on top of the black stripes that I made. Once again, the black stripes did not come out perfectly crisp, so I had to go in with my black Posca marker to really fix things up. The zigzag lines took quite a few coats of paint because I was painting them on top of a black background and they were all pretty light pastel colors. But it was very easy to neaten up the edges of them with the black Posca marker, so shout out to my black Posca marker for really saving the day today. And here I am just finishing up neatening up the edges on the blue crayon. And with that, we are done with all of the base colors on the crayons, and it is time to add some faces. So you can see here that I did a rough sketch on my iPad of what I wanted the crayons' faces to look like. I mostly used Posca markers for this, but a couple of the colors I couldn't match perfectly with my Poscas, so I had to use the regular acrylic paint for those areas. So I wanted to choose a different emotion to show on each one of these crayons just to make the characters interesting. So you'll notice that one of them is bored, one of them is mad, one of them is very sad and scared, and the last one is feeling kind of silly. I had a lot of fun drawing these faces just because I could be silly and dramatic and they didn't have to look realistic or anything. I kind of got to embrace that cartoon style. So this crayon right here, the yellow one, is obviously our angry friend. So I'm giving him some dark yellow eyelids. I did do this for all of them where their eyelids were showing. I used a darker color just to make the eyelid part stand out. And he is clenching his teeth together and looking real angry. I'm not totally sure what he's so angry about. Maybe it's the fact that he can't afford groceries, or maybe the fact that he had to give up his entire paycheck to rent. So then we have this little guy, the green one. He's one of my favorites. I made him looking really sad. So he's got tears welled up in his eyes and he's got some teardrops falling, and I don't know what he just saw, but he just saw something that really shook him up. Maybe he finally just got his credit card statement in the mail and is now reevaluating his entire life, or perhaps I am projecting too much. Anyways, for the blue crayon, I decided to give him a silly face, so he kind of looks like he's teasing the other crayons. Maybe that's why all of them are so emotional. I'm not really sure. It's not my business. But it was really fun drawing the little tongue sticking out on this guy. I think he's definitely one of my favorites. Here I am adding some finishing touches to all of the crayon people. So giving some tears in his eyes, some sweat drops for the angry one. Just giving this guy some eyelids here with my Posca marker. And of course I had to add these cute little shinies in the eyes. Even though none of them are happy, I still wanted them to be cute. You still gotta look cute even if you're being a drama queen, you know? And with that, here is the final reveal of all 4 crayon people. They have lots of different expressions, but I think they all came out really cute. I feel like they need some names. If you think of any names for them, drop them in the comments below. And that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video and enjoy arts and crafts content, make sure to subscribe to my channel and check out my last video. I post new videos every week, so stay tuned for the next one. And I'll see you later. Bye-bye.